Alright, we are on the play with Rug Delver. This hand's a keep. It's not the best 7. I'd really rather have a second land, but I'm not going to go to 6 when I have Fetch, get a Steam Vents, cast Visions, hopefully get a land, then we can go Delver plus Interaction, maybe Slam Goyf. Our opponent mulls to 6, then to 5. I think this hand is probably better than our average 6, so I'm going to keep it. It's definitely way better than our bad 6s. Serum Visions is basically the linchpin for hands like this. If it was a Traverse, I'd be even happier. Fetch out a Stomping Ground, get a basic island. But Visions will do. Visions is like the OG Traverse for hands like this. Delver and Scour, we don't want either of those. We just want to find the second land. We'll go to our opponent. Sacred Foundry, Shock, Rift Bolt, looks like Burn. Well, I'm glad our opponent mulled on Burn because that makes it less likely for them to have a critical mass of burn spells. Bobble is something I will use immediately. And I think we want to look at... We want to crack this now because I want to draw soon. They're not going to interact with what cards we have in hand. They're not playing any discard. So we're not worried about that. Therefore, I want to do this as quickly as possible in case we draw something like a Stubborn Denial to counter a 2 CMC burn spell, something like that. Maybe a Spell Snare, counter an Eidolon. I'm not sure who to target, though. We probably don't care to play this Delver, although it trades with Rift Bolt, so there's that. I think we're going to look at their top card to see what they're going to be doing shortly. It's a Boros Charm. Do I want to play this Delver? I think we do. I think that's better than holding up a Bolt effect and hoping to draw a decent spell. We hit an island off of Bobble, which is not bad. Ooh, they're going for us. Okay. They do not care about our Delver. That's not very nice. Of course, it's probably the better decision given that we wanted them to hit the Delver, but still. It's a nice Delver, and you are disrespecting it by not going at it. Graveyards are looking pretty nice thanks to that Bobble. Now, the island is probably the worst land we could have drawn. Mountain might be slightly worse, but at least then we could double bolt if there's spamming creatures here. Island really doesn't let us do anything we want to do. Is that going at Delver? Okay, that's acceptable. One for me, one for Delver. Second island is really quite bad. Really bad. We're going to go to them. We are really slow right now. I would very much like to have a good Lightning Bolt target for this turn cycle. We're playing against Naya Burn. Could just be Boros splashing Revelry out of the sideboard. That is a good target for Lightning Bolt. Are we going straight to us, opponent? Now, technically, we want to Forked Bolt Grim Lavamancer instead of Lightning Bolt it, because Forked Bolt lets us do one to it, one to their face. Bolt could be aimed at the face, does more damage. But in this particular case, because we have this island in hand, I want to kill this Lavamancer and have all of our mana this turn for Snap Visions. Drawing a Scalding Tarn changes that relatively considerably. I think we're just going to Slam Goyf now. It's unfortunate that we have to fetch Shock down to 11, knowing they have a Boros Charm in hand. But we have a Tarmogoyf, and that ain't bad. I'm pretty happy to fetch Shock here because if we fetch and then get the Shock land tapped, we're basically giving up our turn. We can't deal with Skullcrack. That's fine. Do I just bolt them? I'm pretty sure we just bolt them. We want to use our mana as efficiently as possible because we're kind of behind on tempo. Traverse is online. Do I want to get anything with it? We could grab a Mandrills and just go right at them. That actually sounds pretty good. We're going to play this land. we have Snap Visions or Snap Bolt. We probably swing for 5, knock them down to 9. Then we play Mandrills. We won't be able to traverse 4 and play Mandrills. We swing for 5. We could Forked Bolt, Snap Bolt. Does another 5 off of Goif. We'll deal with the problem handily. I think we're just going full-on offensive, counting on them not drawing what they need to beat us right now. They need another land, and... well, actually, they have Boros Charm in hand, so they have 2 cards that we don't know about. They don't have any lands, so they need to draw land plus more stuff. Actually, we're not going to Forked Bolt. That's fine. We're going to Snap Bolt on their turn, which means we can just traverse now. That's okay. Do I want to get a Snapcaster Mage? Because that tips them off as to what we want to do. Let's get a Mandrills. We're going to Snap Bolt them instead of going for Forked Bolt because it puts the Snapcaster Mage into play such that it can attack on our next turn, which I think is something we want. Boros Charm at us, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be game. Nothing we can do about that. Let's get rid of this Boros Charm. Snapcaster Mage. Target Lightning Bolt. Our opponent stumbled on lands, which is of course unfortunate for them. Very fortunate for us, but... Bold face. Pay red. And we now have lethal on board with the opponent tapped out. I'm pretty sure they can't do anything about this. They scooped. Fantastic. Let's sideboard. We're playing against Burn. So, on the draw, Pyroclasms, Huntmasters, Spell Snare. I believe that's all. Don't want Vapor Snag. Don't want EE. Don't want Blood Moon. If Blood Moon was Spreading Seas, I'd probably board in a number of them because Spreading Seas is actually pretty nice against Burn. Against the field, I'd much rather have Blood Moon. Excuse me. And Blood Moon's not quite as good against Burn as Spreading Seas is because obviously they like having red mana. Although it is pretty good at shutting off their Boros Charms, Destructive Revelries, Wild Nacatls, things like that. But lately, Burn has been a lot more streamlined, so I don't think that's so great. Ceremonious Rejection seems bad, so does Staticaster. Revelry, well, here's another thing we should actually be concerned with. Burn sometimes boards in Ensnaring Bridge, so should we play around that? Let's sideboard first and then decide. I don't want that's not Dismember. I don't want Dismember. I'm probably cutting a number of Thought Scours. I think we're going to cut 1 Mana Leak on the draw. I didn't do that last time, but I kind of like it. We cut a number of Scours, cut the Vapor Snag. I like Spell Snare. I like Bauble. We can probably cut a Snapcaster Mage. We can easily make room for Ancient Grudge and Revelry. I just don't know if we want them in the deck. Maybe just Revelry until we see a bridge. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. 5 cards. I want to cut 1 more thing. Could be a Thought Scour. Probably just a Traverse. Something like that. How good's Disrupting Shoal right now? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15 1 CMCs. That's pretty good. 2 CMCs. We have 1, 2. Technically 3 for Shoal Pitch Shoal. That's pretty low. That's okay though. We're going to submit that. I don't normally play around Ensnaring Bridge. That's probably a good way to increase my burn matchup. Or rather, increase my win percentage in the burn matchup, because it's something I should probably be playing around. This hand seems good. We can turn 1 Delver, or hold up Spell Snare, or we could go for the Stomping Ground to Bolt. We're going to keep. We have Mana Leak sooner or later. One nice thing about playing exactly 2 islands is that even though we're almost certainly going to get a stomping ground off of this turn, any land that we draw after that will allow us to cast Huntmaster, which is nice. If you have 3 islands, you don't necessarily have that luxury. I think we're just going to go island, hold up Spell Snare here. I don't want to run a Delver into a Rift Bolt, given that the Delvers are going to be our main clock. So I think I'm just going to let this... I'm not even going to let this Rift Bolt. I'm going to force this Rift Bolt to go at my face. If they have an Eidolon, I will very happily snare it. If they have 2 1-drops, I'll just suck it up. Arid Mesa. Pass? Sure. Ooh, Hooting Mandrills. That's going to be very good soon. Do we just play Delver and continue holding up Spell Snare? I really don't hate that. Given that they didn't play a 2-drop yet, maybe we just assume they don't have one. They could be playing around Spell Snare. I don't know how much Burn wants to play around counters, though, as opposed to just forcing things through. Do we play Delver or hold up these counters? As long as we have the Tarn uncracked, we have Bolt good to go. The question is these guys. I think I want to be a little proactive here. Worst case scenario, we get a Shockland that isn't Stomping Ground, so we can still Spell Snare if Spell Snare seems like the thing we absolutely need to do. Excuse me. I don't think Spell Snare is going to be that important. And I would also like to capitalize on the tempo our opponent is lending us here. Basic Mountain, Searing Blaze, that's a pretty good spell to snare. So I think we're just going to go for that. I'm going to grab a Breeding Pool here. Our opponent hasn't shown us any creatures yet, so I don't totally mind basically giving up on Lightning Bolt. Getting Breeding Pool is worse for Huntmaster because we could draw the basic forest. We're going to go down to 10. Off of Boros Charm. There it is. Yep. Go to us. Our opponent's missing land drops. That's really unfortunate because we got the green shock with the red fetch, and now we're going to have to get a red shock with the green fetch. So that is certainly awkward. We probably just play the Misty, swing in for 1, and hold up Mana Leak. Then again, we could play second Delver. Let's play second Delver. If they play something that represents more than 2 damage, we could always just shock. Speak of the devil, he shall appear, yada yada yada. Let's go get a Stomping Ground. Definitely Stomping Ground. Stomping Ground. Yup. Now it is relevant that if they do have Ensnaring Bridge in their deck, we are basically casting the only out that we had to it currently. Although I think it's better to just counter the Boros Charm. Yeah, that's fine. Yup. Nope. We're going to use that for Delver Scry. We're going to hit them for 2. Our clock is exceedingly slow, but it's going to get really fast, really quickly. We're going to play this Mandrills. We have 4 cards in the bin. I think we're just going to ignore Delirium and do this. We'll hold up Lightning Bolt. Yep. If the Delvers transform, we'll have 10 power on board, which seems pretty good. Our opponent has a lot of cards though, so I'm pretty sure if we don't kill them almost immediately, we're going to die. We can always top deck a counterspell. That's relevant. I think we took too much damage this game. I'm not sure where the mistake was if we made one, but I think we took too much damage. That actually is going to save us. We're not going to reveal anything. We're just going to play Huntmaster, and we might survive because of it. If they don't have 2 lightning bolts, we will be fine. Swing for 6. We're going to use the island to cast Huntmaster so we don't have to take the 1. Lets us play around Boros Charm because Huntmaster will bring us up to 5. Not cracking the fetch also means we can potentially get the Delver Scry if we think it's relevant. Let's end step just in case we do want to crack that fetch. It's pretty unlikely, I think, but we might. Alright, do they have it? Oh, having another land means they probably have it. Chances are we just lost. I think. What do you got? It's a bolt. Probably at the face. You got a second bolt? Almost certainly. Skullcrack. That will do it. Alright, we're heading into game 3. Now, we continued to not see Ensnaring Bridge. Does that mean you board out Revelry? I should probably ask the people at the forum what they think about that. That's an interesting discussion, whether or not you should play around Ensnaring Bridge out of burn. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment below if you have an opinion on this. That would be helpful. Do I want this Revelry? We haven't seen Eidolon or Ensnaring Bridge so far. I'm going to take it out. I'd rather have a card that's not necessarily going to be dead. We're on the play. Let's drop these Pyroclasms. Bring in Mana Leak. You're more likely to be facing down a bunch of creatures on the draw, which is why Pyroclasm's a bit better there. Maybe I want 1. Have we seen a single creature? Grim Lavamancer. That's it. Grim Lavamancer is the only creature we've seen. Second Snapcaster Mage could be good. I don't know what we should be doing here. I feel like Traverse isn't where we want to be. Then again, it's going to help us hit our land drop, so maybe that is something we want. I wonder if we should have boarded this out at all. Then again, it's kind of going to end up being bad eventually. We raised our curve, and we're taking out cantrips, but we're also post-board. I'm really not sure. We have a minute and a half. I kind of want Traverse and the 1 Pyroclasm. I don't think there's anything else here I really want. Maybe Snapcaster Mage, but I feel like that's going to end up being a little slow. Yeah, let's run Snapcaster Mage instead of Pyroclasm. That's probably a bit better on the play. Let's do that. We're on the play. Rug Delver with a lot of counter spells. Hopefully we can play this Mandrill sooner or later. We're going to keep. Our opponent mulliganed again, so they're probably having a bit of a bad day. Denial's probably not going to be great on turn 1, so we're just going to start off with Foothills, grab ourselves a Stomping Ground. We might Shoal Pitch it. I don't know if we want to do that, though. With them having a Goblin Guide, we probably want to Shoal Pitch the Denial. We're a decent way out from casting this Mandrills, and it's our only way of locking down the board. If we had a Bolt in hand, I could see not doing that. As is, I think it's our best way to go. Ooh, Misty. That's going to make things pretty nice for us. Excuse me. That means we're going to have turn 3 Mandrills. We might even Mana Leak their second play. Goblin Guide, why not? We'll just get a basic island. Save some life. Ooh, they're missing land drops quite a bit. Do I want to play this Tarn? If we play the Tarn, we're going to be delving a lot. Then again, it's just instants and lands. Yeah, let's end up grabbing a tapped land after this. We'll delve away the whole graveyard. Our opponent is having mana problems, as we pointed out. Well, they found their second land drop, so that's good for them. I wonder if they have the path. Path would really hurt us here, and I do believe Burn boards it in. It's really just a matter of whether or not they have it in hand. Our opponent looks to be thinking about something. So what are we going to need to think about soon? We probably get a breeding pool tapped. We don't have another stomping ground, otherwise we'd just get that. Have red, red, green, green, blue, blue. Lava Spike is definitely something I'd rather see than Path. Now they might be playing around a counter spell because we have this Tarn here. But I think we're just going to tap it. Fetch, get a breeding pool. I want to save the life. I think that's better than going with the bluff. Now we're going to get in for 4 because we really need to start clocking them. The question is, do we play Delver or have Shoal to counter a 2 CMC spell up? I think I'd rather just play the Delver. Be able to counter Path still. It's basically the most problematic card they could have. Searing Blaze would certainly hurt, but it's not the worst. Them fetching here makes me think they don't have Searing Blaze, because if they did, they'd probably hold on to the fetch for the landfall. They just drew that fetch as well. I say that because they just made their second land drop that turn, so we knew that they just drew that. So we had privileged information that they did not have a land in hand. Not that we knew that they were going to fetch before we played the Delver, but still. If we play this Delver, we have lethal on board, which seems pretty good. It forces them to go at our creatures while we have Shoal for X equals 1 in hand. So basically they can't deal with Mandrills because we can counter their Path. So they're probably going to have to send some bolts at some Delvers, which probably puts us in a good position anyways. Boros Charm, that's perfectly fine. We'll go to 10. They have 3 cards in hand. I wonder if they can kill us through Shoal. 3 cards, they'll draw a 4th. Bolt, Bolt, Bolt doesn't do it. Boros Charm Bolt doesn't do it. They play a land. They have 3 left in hand. Bolt, Bolt, Boros Charm. They theoretically could, but we can counter a 1 CMC spell. I think we have this. I'm pretty sure this is locked up. I don't think they have a way out of this. At least not one that ends the game this turn. Maybe they Boros Charm us. Well, no, because we have the Shoal, they need to Searing Blaze. They Searing Blaze a Delver and us. The other Delver doesn't transform. That means we can only hit them for 5. They'll end up at 2. And then they kill us on the next turn. I think that's their out. Huntmaster's gonna cause a bit of a problem with that. I apologize. Phone going off. We're gonna swing. I don't know if I'd rather play Huntmaster or hold up Disrupting Shoal. Actually, let's undo that. We're going to play around a haste creature by leaving a Delver back. It doesn't speed up our clock anyways. Then again, if we swing, they can't fetch, but I think I'd rather just have the Delver back to play around a Goblin Guide or a Swift Spear. Something to that effect. I think I want to hold up the Disrupting Shoal as opposed to playing this Huntmaster. They're going to Rift Bolt us. We're going to go to 10. Sorry, we're going to go to 7. If we play Huntmaster and they don't have Skullcrack, maybe we should have attacked so that Skullcrack didn't matter. Yeah, we should have done that. If we're playing Huntmaster, we should have attacked. Do we still play Huntmaster having not attacked? They Rift Bolt us. We could... No, we can't Shoal it because it does have a CMC. We can Shoal other burn spells, though. So we're going to be at 7, and they're probably going to have 3 mana and 4 cards. I'm going to say we can survive. I'm going to say we can survive. Now, I think that if we had attacked, playing the Huntmaster would have maybe been better. I'm going to just think about that for a second, because they won't be able to fetch if we do that, meaning they only have 2 mana available. Riftbolt would only take us down to 9 because of Huntmaster. Yeah, I think you swing first with everything, knock them down to 1, and then play Huntmaster. I think that's our best line, because I don't think they can beat us in that spot. Whereas in this spot, there's probably a way. They Riftbolt us, they fetch, they have access to 3 lands, we're at 7, they go bolt, 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 we counter 1, they have 4 cards in hand. No, they can't have 4 lands and 4 bolts. 2 for Boros Charm, 1 for bolt. No, I think we're fine regardlessly. Let's find out if we're just waiting on our opponent. I think we have this game locked up. Our opponent's thinking. There really aren't any other decisions left for us other than what do we shoal if we shoal. Here's a mountain. If it's a Boros Charm, I think we're just going to straight up counter it. Pretty sure we were supposed to just attack and play the Huntmaster. It's a Boros Charm. So if we Disrupting Shoal this, they will have 3 cards in hand. We'll be at 7 because of the Riftbolt, so we could die if it's a bunch of 1 CMC burn spells. Another Boros Charm and a Bolt also kills us. However, Boros Charm is the best spell in their deck, so we're just going to straight up counter it. Not 6. How about 2? If we had attacked with everything, they wouldn't have been able to fetch here, so I'm pretty sure that's the line we should have taken. We very well might lose this game and the match because of that. We're at 7. Do they have it? The excitement is mounting. If they can use all of their mana on spells that go to the face, it's game. If they can't, it is not. Xmage lagged for a second there, which was quite disconcerting. That's a mountain. They still could have gotten us if they had Boros Charm plus Bolt Effect. They didn't have it, so at least we weren't punished for our misplay. But I am pretty sure you were supposed to attack with all of the creatures, make it so they can't fetch, and then Huntmaster to gain us enough life, make enough bodies that they just can't come back from that position. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.